Banking with people you know and people you know you can count on. For security, bank better. Hotline, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Please drink responsibly. West Rock Coffee, produced right here in Arkansas. West Rock is proud to be the official coffee of the Razorbacks. Summit Utilities, bringing natural gas to Razorback fans across Arkansas. By Shelter Insurance. For award-winning service, find an agent near you at shelterinsurance.com. Bud Anderson, the official heating and cooling provider of the Razorbacks. Harps, quality foods, hometown fresh. It's that simple at Harps. Arkansas Heart Hospital, dedicated to your heart. By Visit Hot Springs. Time for a road trip to Hot Springs, Arkansas. Learn more at hotsprings.org. By Ballpark, the official hot dog of the Razorbacks. Edward Jones. Find a financial advisor near you at edwardjones.com. Roller Funeral Homes. For 3 generations, the Razorback Nation has trusted the Roller family to serve yours with all our respect. Core Brewing, the official craft brewery of the Razorbacks. By Oaklawn in Hot Springs, Arkansas's only casino resort. Gateway Mortgage, helping build families and communities one home at a time. Your local Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. By Farmers Union Insurance, simply different. BASN, we create chemistry. By The Joint Chiropractic, don't do pain, do you. Greenway Equipment, equipment that works as hard as you do. LRS, Arkansas's local waste management company. By Fish City Grill, friendly folks, serious seafood. And by the Arkansas Department of Health. With tobacco, we can help. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation of the Razorback Sports Network.
This is Hog Reaction.
A drive to right field, way back and out of here. A 3-run homer by Ben McLaughlin.
Our coverage is presented by Mock Legal Solutions. If you find yourself in a fender bender, divorce, or custody dispute, call Jackie Mock at Mock Legal Solutions, 479-769-1505, or mocklegalsolutions.com. Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price. Arvest Bank. Since 1961, Arvest Bank has been committed to its local communities. Arvest is ready to help. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. And by Camping World. We have America's favorite brands. Get into your perfect RV at Camping World in Poto and Van Buren and online at campingworld.com.
I got to be honest. I expected us to do a post game today, me and Big C. But I expected to do one later on tonight, win or lose. I did not expect, like the Arkansas softball team, to not even make it to the regional final and be doing a post-game show around 4 or 5 in the afternoon. But that's where we find ourselves on Sunday. Arkansas falls 6-3 to SEMO. You didn't lose to Kansas State, Louisiana Tech to get eliminated. You lost to the 4-seed SEMO. And I know Andy Sawyers, Trevor Uzel, and that ball club came to play today. But today's loss was about the Arkansas Razorbacks, right? You know how coaches always say, if we do what we do right, we'll win the game. Football, basketball, baseball. They did not execute. They did not come through. And the Achilles heel of this team all season long, it wasn't just hitting. It was bringing guys home in scoring position and on base. Another facet of this game today where Arkansas failed. And that's where you find yourselves. As Phil said, the season concluded. You're not going to hear from Phil Elson and Bubba Carpenter, at least on game broadcasts. Phil's, of course, going to give his full reaction 3 hours tomorrow on halftime. I'm staying tuned in for that. Always enjoy listening to Phil talk about this baseball team, any subject for that matter. But calling it disappointing, there's a bunch of other adjectives and adverbs that will be used. But I think you have to call it what it is. It was a failure. And I realized that Arkansas tied, and technically won. I say tied. They won the SEC West. I realized that Dave was just talking about regular season, and I don't. Again, this is how I actually feel. Maybe I'll feel differently tomorrow. Again, it just happened. Maybe I'll kind of rationalize my thoughts and come to something different tomorrow. But I really do feel like this team failed. And again, it's hard to justify that and kind of compartmentalize. That's probably the better word I'm looking for after a season where you won the SEC West, the toughest division in baseball, but y'all, you didn't even make it to the regional final of your own regional. You were the 5 seed. As you heard Phil say, you were number one for a good chunk of this season. And I know there's going to be a lot of disappointed fans. You're welcome to jump in with us on the McLarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Big C, I'll turn it over to you. How do you feel directly following that loss, and maybe you'll feel differently tomorrow?
Yeah, even after the loss last night, I didn't feel like we just got outplayed or anything like that. I feel like, that one big inning against Hagen Smith was the difference, and I fully expected Arkansas's bats to be there today and at least get a win over SEMO and see what happens against Kansas State.
At least make it to tonight. Yeah, exactly. At least make it to tonight.
Yeah, and that's the most disappointing thing, is because you didn't even give yourself a chance, and the bats went cold again against a SEMO pitching staff that's not very good. I mean, they're really not.
No, not.
And you'd like your chances to again against Kansas State based on the way the game played last night. They really had one good inning, and after that huge inning by them against Hagen Smith, they really didn't do a whole lot after that, and that's what gave me confidence. And you did see the bats last night kind of wake up a little bit. Mm-hmm. You saw some clutch hittings. You saw like 4 or 5 guys with multiple hits. It wasn't just one person, and that's what gave me confidence. Okay, they're going to wake up and play great baseball today, and maybe have to outslug Kansas State later tonight if they were to make it, and it just didn't happen. That's the most disappointing part, but you don't even give yourself a chance now, and really it's just all around disappointing.
Let's take some text and some calls here on the McLarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Really appreciate Mock Legal Solutions, Camping World, and Arvest Bank sponsoring not just our Fayetteville regional coverage, but our post-game coverage as well. Chris in Fayetteville with the texting. We're going to, I would guess in the next 48 hours or so, we're going to get a lot of pessimistic texts about this baseball program saying, choked. I told you, before the season, during the season, after the season, and today. That's how he feels about what the baseball team did. This one comes from Dustin in Mansfield. How many more of these unceremonious early disappointing exits are we going to have before we consider Dave Van Horn's job security? Dave's job security is not in peril. It's not going to be. I do think there will be questions about potential staff changes. I'm not talking about Dave in particular, but I wonder as we continue on. Dave's talked about the continuity before of his coaching staff with Matt Hobbs, Nate Thompson, not just those guys. You think about, I'm forgetting his director of baseball. It's a bald guy. I'm blanking on his director of baseball. But there's been some guys that he's had around him for several years now. And you just wonder if an early exit like this maybe causes Dave to rethink his staff. Hunter Yurachek is not rethinking Dave Van Horn as the baseball coach, but definitely some questions I do have. Let's start with Jeff, who's in Evening Shade, Arkansas. I'm going to guess that's in Arkansas. Jeff, welcome into Hog Reaction. What you got for us?
I can tell you that Hunter Yurachek may not be looking at Dave Van Horn's job, but I am.
Okay. Explain.
Because all of this falls back on him. You surround yourself with quality staff, and he has got a pitching coach and a batting coach that have failed miserably. We have had the number one pitching crew in the country, and you couldn't get out of the regional. You couldn't make it to the regional finals. This is an absolute failure. There is no way under the sun that this should have ever happened.
I think a lot of people...
You have to, at a bare minimum, you have to remove Hobbs and you have to remove Thompson, because this is a joke. Absolute joke. Dave Van Horn got where he is right now playing small ball, and they've completely abandoned small ball. What has Kentucky done to get to where they are this year? They played small ball.
So you're asking for a complete overhaul in the staff, basically.
Oh, you have to.
Okay.
You have to, because you have had 3 teams in the last 6 years that have had everything they need to win a World Series come up empty-handed every time. Haven't even made it out of the first round out of 2 of those seasons.
Okay, Jeff, let me just play devil's advocate, and I'll let you respond to this before we've got 3 other callers to get to. But you mentioned 3 of 6 years. 2018 College World Series, 2019 College World Series. I guess 2020 was COVID year that got cut short. And 22 College World Series, you were game out from the final. So how do you justify that take, which I'm not saying is egregious and off, but you reference the 6-year period, which I guess technically is it just in that time frame. How do you justify those appearances and those postseason runs with what you're saying? Because Hobbs and Thompson were a part of those runs too, with maybe the exception of 2018. I think Johnson might have still been here then.
You should have won 2018. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Okay.
Should have won that one. You're 1 out from winning it, and then you can't even pull it together after you blow that game. You can't pull it together to win the next game.
They weren't going to win that game once the foul ball. Jeff,
this is absolutely miserable. Miserable.
Well, I'll tell you what. You think, and I don't think you're going to be the only one that's in that camp. But what I would encourage everyone to do, and we appreciate your call, and we'll continue to take them on the McLarty Dane Hotline. We've got a full call board right now, 877-377-6963. What I would encourage you to do is, everyone's hot. They're mad. They're angry. I get it. When I'm listening, I was listening to Phil, listening to Bubba, watching some of it on ESPN Plus, and I was frustrated because I thought the season was about to come in. But again, kind of let things play out this week. And if you still feel that way, then continue to call and text in. I don't know if anything's going to happen with the coaching staff. I really don't. But I do think there are more questions. Again, I want to structure this right. Not about Dave Van Horn, but I wonder after this season if he rethinks the continuity aspect of his coaching staff. All right, let's go to Robert, who's in Fort Smith this afternoon. Robert, welcome into Hog Reaction. What you got for us?
Hey, Todd. I agree with the last call. I'm just going to go failure, but I'm going to, since you guys are bringing up about Van Horn and the winning, get it like this. We are an upper echelon team. We are Georgia. We are an Alabama in baseball, like the hard football.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia got rid of Mark Rick after 2 seasons. And look what they're doing. I'm not saying we're going to get any better, but they didn't put up with it. And we keep losing in these regions. We lost last year in the region. He's got some of the best players in the nation. It does not make any sense to get beat. What is it? We get out there and we think we got this big A on our chest and we're somebody because we don't lose at home.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get in the regions and get beat.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. First time all season you've lost a quote-unquote series at home. I know this is a little different format and setup, but you were 33-3 prior to this weekend, so 2 of your 5 losses this year came over the course in this season when it mattered. And I think it's also important to point out, and I don't want to put all the blame at someone, but I know he's disappointed with what happened last night, is Hagen Smith. And I know Hagen, if he could have back that 3-run shot, I guess it was, he would do anything he can. It's just, I hate to see the way his career has been at Arkansas, where he's had so many success stories. I mean, the Bullard, Texas native has been such a great part of this season last 3 years. Really, he was the best pitcher as a freshman in postseason for you. And I hate it for him that his career ended the way it did last night. Robert, we appreciate the call. We move on to Tristan, who's in Yellville, listening on ESPN 104.3. What's up, Tristan?
Hey, guys. It all comes down to just one thing for me, and I've been watching Hogs baseball for a long time, but I'll get to the point. I'm not after any of the coaches or any of that, but last night watching that game, I don't know if it was just the players or if they were told, but first pitch strikes when the pitcher's throwing a curveball, 86, 87 miles an hour down Main Street every time. I mean, we're just standing there, and I don't know if they were told to do that or anything, but I've been watching college baseball since Benny baseball was playing, and we're consistently at the top every year. And I'm not poking fun at any coaches, but just the first pitch strikes, it just seemed – I didn't even watch today. I was on the golf course keeping up with it on my phone, so I just want to hear what y'all have to think about that.
What'd you shoot today, Tristan?
I shot an 84.
Attaboy. I shot a 94. So you shot 10 strokes better than me today. Appreciate the call, buddy. Yeah. Again, I'm curious to see. We're obviously getting a lot of negative texts and calls right now, which, listen, I get it. You want to keep sending them in? You want to keep calling us on the McLarty Daniel hotline? It's a free country. And if you want to voice that, that's fine. But I'm curious to see if the sound and the tune changes by the end of the week. All right, Charlie's in Camden, back on the McLarty Daniel hotline. What's up, Charlie?
What's up, guys? Can you hear me? Can you hear me good?
Yeah. What's up?
Yeah, man. I just frustrating. I will say this. I guess frustrating, disappointed more than anything. I just felt like if Arkansas played the way they were capable, they were getting out of this regional. But another thing that I think this teaches us is, you look at Vanderbilt getting put out. Some of the other SEC teams. I mean,
it's a good point.
From now on, it's no guarantees anymore. And the commentators made like one or two good points all weekend. I tried to mute them out, listen to Phil and Bubba, but they did make one point about the portal helping some of these teams like SEMO. I understand that we probably shouldn't have lost them, but look, these guys at the end of the day they hit the ball well, and they were better at us. Let's be honest, they got better. They were just better than us today. It's as simple as that. And
a lot older too.
A lot older. Yeah, good point too, C Unit. I mean, it just they were better, more experienced. And Dave brought up something at the end of at his post game. He said, maybe we need to start getting some better athletes. So looking at getting some speed, and hey, they playing a little small ball, not relying on getting just home runs all the time. We'll see what happens though. Anyways, y'all go.
All right, thanks, Charlie. Moving on to Brian, who's in Ozark. What's up, Brian?
What's going on, guys?
Nothing much.
I just want to say something. You know that I'm an avid Longhorn fan, except Arkansas baseball. And this is what I see from an outsider, because I don't care what else Arkansas does, with the exception of baseball. So those people that want to attack DVH being a top 5 baseball coach in this country are morons. You know what? Arkansas wouldn't be in this regional without Dave Van Horn. He knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
He's won 800 games at Arkansas. Think about what they were like 20 years ago. Nothing compared to what they are now. So the people that think that he should retire and move on, you better watch what you wish for, because if he leaves ever in the next few years, you ain't going to be as good as you are now. He recruits these players. They all come to play for him. They're not coming to play for the University of Arkansas. They're coming to play for the great Dave Van Horn. So, people should kind of watch what they ask for. It's always next year. Yeah, this end of this season sucks, even as a Texas fan. For Arkansas baseball, this sucks. I was hoping to go all the way. I'm not surprised. I saw this in the Mississippi State game. They're serious. I saw this coming a month ago. Something was going wrong. And, these coaches didn't want to lose. It's not on the coaches. They don't get out there, hit the ball, catch the ball, whatever. These are baseball players been doing it their whole life. It's on these kids. They lost it. Dave Van Horn's more disgusted than anybody else. That's all I got to say, Ty. Have a great day.
Thanks, Brian. Scott with a text on the McLarty Daniel hotline. Brian is the voice of reason. Never thought he would see the day. But, yeah, I think Brian makes some points. And I think Norm to Brian would tell you straightforward that Dave has taken this program to a new level. I think Arkansas is in a weird situation right now with its baseball program, with its fan base. I saw some people really frustrated with the social media post they just put out that said thank you, because this fan base thinks of Arkansas as a championship-level program. Facilities, coach, just everything that is entangled with it. But you haven't won a championship, right? I think the best comparison that you can make, with the exception of the conference comparison, is Gonzaga, right? I mean, Dave's marked few. He's been close to the mountaintop a couple times, haven't gotten it done. And, I mean, wildly respected in the coaching industry, both Few and Dave Van Horn. But those programs haven't achieved what every other program wants to achieve. And I also think what is a part of the disappointment from Razorback fans is seeing other SEC teams win the College World Series. Not just the 3 recently from the Western Division, but Florida and Vanderbilt, and also South Carolina in the last decade or so. I mean, a lot of SEC teams have won national titles lately. Arkansas is just not on that list. All right, the final call before we go to break goes to John in Fort Smith on the McLarty Daniel Hotline. What's up, John?
Hey, guys. Hey, listen, I've coached baseball for 27 years, not at the collegiate level, but at a pretty high level. And one thing I'm not hearing anybody talk about is, listen, you can teach these kids everything they need to know. You can teach them what they need to do at the plate, but ultimately, it's the players that's got to execute. All right, they've got to go up there with a plan. They've got to go up there. I mean, they've got to know what's coming. They've got to, have some kind of plan, and they've got to execute. And Van Horn and Thompson and those guys can't do it for them. Bottom line is those guys have to execute. Last night, they had chance after chance with our best hitters up. Couldn't execute. Swinging at bad pitches. Swinging at pitches over their head. Being out in front of the ball. I mean, just on and on and on. I've seen it coming for a while, and so bottom line is, we can point fingers at the coaches and all that, but at the end of the day, these guys, it's on them to execute. And the players would say the same thing. It is up to them to do it. Thompson don't have a bat in his hand, and neither does Van Horn. It's up to these guys to execute. That's all I got. Thanks.
All right, we'll leave it there for now. We're going to continue on for Hog Reaction in the next 45 minutes to an hour. If you want to jump in with us, we probably just took about 10-plus texts, 10-plus calls there, 877-377-6963. More Hog Reaction coming up with Big C and myself, Ty Richardson, next.
This is Hog Reaction. Our coverage is presented by Mock Legal Solutions, Arvest Bank, and by Camping World.
Summer is finally here. Come check out Kofer's Boat Center's huge selection of boats with the best incentives in years. Kofer's experienced professionals will answer all your boating questions, and their award-winning customer service with Mercury, Malibu, Lowe, Camus, and Garmin will keep your boat in peak condition. Kofer's also has a fully stocked pro shop and updated RV and boat storage facilities. Find Kofer's online at Kofer's.com. That's COPHERS.com. Kofer's Boat Center, your authorized Mercury dealer, helping their customers create a lifetime of memories for over 50 years.
Roll into the season at WT Equipment. Get ready to roll with strong savings on hay tools, compact and mid-range tractors, and even our large commercial-grade hay equipment. Buy now and save $5,000, $10,000, or more in cash back. Or get 0% financing for up to 48 months on hay tools, 60 months on mid-range tractors, and up to 72 months on compacts. Hurry, offer ends June 30th for commercial use only. Customer participation subject to credit qualification and CNH Industrial Capital America LLC approval. Standard terms, conditions, and other restrictions apply. Down payment may be required. WT Equipment, your partner in progress.
Gray Steel Structures Incorporated is a family-owned business based in Greenwood, specializing in steel structures. Owner Will Gray has 20 years' experience doing the job right and making sure you're satisfied with a structure you have a need for. Gray Steel Structures serves both commercial and residential customers. Whatever your need may be, mini storage, RV storage, home workshop, or any metal building need, make Gray Steel Structures your first call. Gray Steel Structures, 252-2783. That's 252-2783.
GraySteelStructuresInc.com. That's Gray with an A.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's #1 mobile app for placing sports wagers.
In Arkansas, 7 out of every $10 placed on a sporting bet app is with Bet Saracen, because Bet Saracen offers more ways to win and more ways to get paid, and faster. Find your winners on Bet Saracen and look for my Double R prop bet specials. I pick them and you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Hi, folks. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center with exciting news about our first ever trade-in acquisition event. We need your trade. So now through Memorial Day, get your state sales tax paid when you trade for any one of our road-ready certified vehicles. That's right, state sales tax paid when you trade. Another reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Dozy Place has now been serving award-winning steaks for over 20 years. Celebrate your special birthday, holiday, person, or just because at Dozy Place. Start with delicious appetizers and your choice of drinks from the largest selection of wines, beer, and liquor in the River Valley. Dozy Place is open Tuesday through Thursday 5 till 9 and Friday and Saturday 5 till 10. Reservations are recommended, so call 784-9111. 784-9111 for Dozy Place, 422 North 3rd Street, Fort Smith.
There's more to a tractor than just horsepower. A tractor also needs weight to get that horsepower to the ground. With TYM, a heavier tractor comes standard. Many of the TYM models weigh more for the horsepower than comparable tractors from the big names, and tractors that weigh more do more. See Bush Tractor at their new location at 6100 South Zero in Fort Smith, or log on to bushtractor.com to see how they can upgrade your productivity.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Let's see. Leaky faucet Tuesday. Water flooding the yard. Better put that down for the middle of the month when the bills aren't due.
Honey, what are you doing?
Planning our plumbing problems, of course.
You can't plan our plumbing problems, but you should plan our plumber.
What do you mean?
Like all important contacts, I keep Westart Plumbing in my phone. They're always there when we need them, and they don't overcharge since they know we don't plan our plumbing problems. Here, honey, here's their number.
646-5151. Thanks, babe.
Westart Plumbing. We keep you flowing.
Do you need help with your next project? Metters Lumber True Value is here to help. A family-owned business since 1936, the staff has more than 90 years of experience in construction and the hardware business. If they don't have what you need, they know how to get it, and they are more than happy to accommodate your special order. So whether it's building a new deck, a paint project around the house, or needing a new set of tools, Metters Lumber True Value has everything you need. With locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville, and you can shop online at metterslumber.com. Metters Lumber True Value.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. This is Hog Reaction.
A high drive deep to left field by Baheba Aloy. Way back and way out of here. He cleared the hog pen seats in left field, and the Hogs are back in front.
Our coverage is presented by Mock Legal Solutions, Arvest Bank, and by Camping World.
All right, we welcome you back into Hog Reaction. Really appreciate Mock Legal Solutions, Jackie and her team helping you out with any fender benders, divorce, or custody disputes. You can give her a call at 479-769-1505 or at mocklegalsolutions.com. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price. Arvest Bank, since 1961, they've been committed to you and the local communities. They're always ready to help. Equal housing lender, member FDIC. And by Camping World. We have America's favorite brands at Camping World all over Arkansas. You can stop by and see them specifically in Poto and Van Buren and online at campingworld.com. At the end of this copy, I wrote, the road to Omaha starts now. Not going to Omaha this year, unfortunately. And I'm curious following this week where our show content goes, because I guess we're 88 or 87 days out from Arkansas football. After this week, I would say that is where our predominant focus is going to shift. I expected baseball to kind of really carry our local shows on Morning Rush, Halftime, Ruskin and Zach. I don't think it's going to be an issue for Ruskin and Zach, but I am curious what we are going to talk about moving forward when it comes to Arkansas sports. Again, I think football is going to take up a bit. Scott texted in on the McLarty Daniel hotline. What happened? What the freaking hell happened? Again, there's several issues, right? You ran out of pitching. You felt like Gage Wood, again, he only gave you 3 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs he gave up. I know Gage was probably disappointing with his outing. You had to throw Faraday in there. You had McIntyre, saw a little bit of Mac, Hewlett, Fouch, Frank. I mean, 6 runs is not a ton. It was really your hitting again that failed you today. You think about what Arkansas had from that production. I guess one guy, Peyton Holt, who started things going with that home run, that solo shot, they couldn't do anything. I really expected. I mean, Hudson White, he's got the bases loaded, bases juiced, and hits a grounder, I guess, second base or short. That was thrown out pretty easily, and I expected Hudson to come through right there because he has so many other times in the last few weeks, and just another example of Arkansas, their lack of production with guys on base.
They're in the 7th when we had runners at second and third, no outs.
That's another example, Big C.
Didn't score. I mean, that's just really deflating.
It's back. Yeah, it's back, Braden. You're exactly right, Christian. Deflating is a great word to use there because, I mean, how many times did you start to get some energy, start to get some juice? I know Parker hit that home run late. I know Parker hasn't had the best hitting percentage at the plate over the course of his Razorback career. He seems like a great leader and a great guy that you want in the clubhouse. But that gave him some life, and they just weren't able to capitalize on that. And really, SEMO jumped on you early. They had that initial run in the first, got 3 more runs in the fourth, added another one in the fifth. You didn't score till the 5th inning, till Peyton's solo shot. Then you scored 2 more in the 9th. So really, again, spaced out. Right? Just, I think that when you look at Arkansas's hitting this season, when you come in ranked as the 64th team in batting average in all of the tournament teams, there's no justifying, well, you played SEC pitching. There's no saying, well, it's high caliber competition. You're just the worst hitting team in the tournament, at least by percentage. And when I saw that stat initially, I don't know if I even should have been flabbergasted, but I was. I was like, how is that possible that you had the number 1 ERA in that? But that just shows you the stark difference of those two teams. And it wasn't just hitting that let you down in the Fayetteville Regional. Trust me, pitching did too. And Dave Van Horn and Matt Hobbs will tell you that was also a crucial part of why they're exiting before the regional final. Like, to not even make tonight's game against Kansas State, it's just absurd. And I think it's okay to be angry and disappointed, because I know Dave is, and I know that clubhouse is hurting right now. It's like it's a fine line, because it's a combination, like, they're disappointed, and you're not trying to like chastise them and go over the top with these, again, kids. I know they're young men. When you turn 18, you become a young man, but there's still that balance. And I know it's been blurred a little bit because they're getting paid, but there's no one that's hurting more right now than the guys in the clubhouse and that coaching staff. The question is how do you figure it out for next year? And not just to replicate the same regular season success, which you have won 5 of the last 6 SEC West titles, which is awesome, but how do you replicate the postseason success that you had in 2018, 2019, and 2022? That's the question. And it might be a hard question that Dave has to ask himself this offseason, Big C.
One thing that's really evident this year, and I've seen evidence in the past, it's like Arkansas baseball does a lot better when maybe the expectations aren't sky high, because the expectations this year were really high, and even David Van Horn admitted like he doesn't want the players to feel the pressure. And I know that's kind of hard in baseball. There's always going to be pressure, but we as the fans, sometimes media puts a lot of pressure on these guys, and a lot of times they just don't live up to it. They just don't respond well to it.
And if we like polled Arkansas fans, I don't know if the consensus would have been, well, they have to make it to the College World Series final. I know I've talked about the 64-94 2024, and I don't want people to think I'm mad that they lost because of that, because of my prophecy, quote unquote, didn't come true. I'm just disappointed for every young man and that coach in that locker room, because they know that they're better than how they played this weekend. But there's also a sense, I'm really, and I haven't got a chance to listen to Dave just yet. I need to go listen to some things. We'll clip some of the stuff during the break of what he had to say, because I think it's important to hear from what your head baseball coach specifically, not just us. But again, there's a lot. Like, let's take through the pregame, right? Here's what Dave had to say about SEMO before the game.
Well, you take away the freshman that leads off for them. Yeah. They're really, really old. You're talking seniors and maybe a junior mixed in there. And these kids have been to our ballpark before. They put up numbers all year. They've hit a lot of home run and a lot of doubles. So, they're not intimidated. They're just playing baseball, and they feel like that they can come back and win. They feel like they can beat anybody. And, they've got a good coaching staff. And, one of them played for us here. One of them played for me and coached with me down the road. And they bring a lot of confidence to their players.
I don't think, and I could be wrong, I don't think this team took SEMO lightly. I don't know what happened outside from just the statistics and what I saw, right? Like I'm still trying to figure out how you got beat by essentially a midweek team, right? I mean that's what you lost to. You lost to a midweek team for the right to continue on to postseason in your own ballpark. That's really a blanket statement on SEMO. And maybe you could say, well, they're better than the average whatever, but they're a midweek team, period. And we could talk about the connection to Sawyer and Dave all we want, but from a talent standpoint, and I heard Bubba kind of alluding this in the broadcast, you look up and down the roster, pro prospects, the recruiting rankings, it's not close on the two schools, not close. And yet you found yourself on the low side rather than the high side in a 6-3 loss today.
Yeah, I don't know if confidence was the issue today, but the SEMO guys could hit home runs, but it's like they could spray it all over the field, and they seem to get timely hits. It didn't seem like they were all trying to jack home runs, and I'm not saying every player on Arkansas just tries to hit home runs, but a lot of them, a lot of them believe that they're going to go up there and hit a home run. I think almost every at bat, and that can be a dangerous thing sometimes.
We got a bunch of calls initially on that first segment. I want to peg that up. We got over 500 people watching us right now. We've got tons of other people listening across our 4 radio stations, plus hitthatline.com, which had over 600,000 listeners this month. I need some more reaction. It shouldn't just be me. It shouldn't just be Christian. We'll get to some of what Dave had to say coming up. I'll read more of these texts, but I want to hear your voice. I want to hear what you think following a 6-3 loss, not to Kansas State, not to Louisiana Tech, but to SEMO. SEMO ended your season. I want to hear more of that coming up. Stay with us. McLarty Daniel Hotline is open, 877-377-6963.
This is Hog Reaction. Our coverage is presented by Mock Legal Solutions, Our Vest Bank, and by Camping World.
Hi, folks. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center with exciting news about our first ever trade-in acquisition event. We need your trade. So now through Memorial Day, get your state sales tax paid when you trade for any one of our road-ready certified vehicles. That's right, state sales tax paid when you trade. Another reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family, from general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Davis, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Now offering same-day crowns. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
There's more to a tractor than just horsepower. A tractor also needs weight to get that horsepower to the ground. With TYM, a heavier tractor comes standard. Many of the TYM models weigh more for the horsepower than comparable tractors from the big names, and tractors that weigh more do more. See Bush Tractor at their new location at 6100 South Zero in Fort Smith, or log on to bushtractor.com to see how they can upgrade your productivity.
When you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. But you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local convenience store today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Patriot Transport wants to thank their drivers for their hard work and dedication. The local and over-the-road drivers are essential to the Patriot Transport mission. Day in and day out, Patriot Transport drivers are on the road striving for safety and success. To the behind-the-scenes dispatch and office employees, Patriot Transport thanks them as well for the hard work they put in day and night. If you want to be a part of the Patriot Transport family, visit patriottransport.com. Patriot Transport is located in Danville, Arkansas.
When you need legal help, turn to the law offices of Craig L. Cook. With over 40 years combined experience, the Cook Law Team works for you. If you've been injured in an auto accident, hurt on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help with bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Summer is finally here. Come check out Kofer's Boat Center's huge selection of boats with the best incentives in years. Kofer's experienced professionals will answer all your boating questions, and their award-winning customer service with Mercury, Malibu, Lowe, Camus, and Garmin will keep your boat in peak condition. Kofer's also has a fully stocked pro shop and updated RV and boat storage facilities. Find Kofer's online at Kofer's.com. That's COPHERS.com. Kofer's Boat Center, your authorized Mercury dealer, helping their customers create a lifetime of memories for over 50 years.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. This is Hog Reaction.
A high drive deep to left field by Baheba Aloy. Way back and way out of here. He cleared the hog pen seats in left field, and the Hogs are back in front.
Our coverage is presented by Mock Legal Solutions, Arvest Bank, and by Camping World.
And we welcome you back to Hog Reaction. As you just heard, appreciate Mock Legal Solutions, Arvest Bank, and Camping World being a part of our post-game coverage. Still some text to react to here on the McLarty Daniel hotline. This comes from Florida, and Tim in Palm Beach. He said maybe they realized they would have to travel after the Super Regional, and that he didn't think they would want to travel. Jamie and Van Buren saying that DVH window is closing if it's not already closed. Jamie, let's stay there for a sec, because that's an interesting question you posed, or more of a statement that you posed. I don't think that window's closed, right? Like I'd have to age myself with Johnson, Bianco, and I can't think of Mississippi State's head baseball coach at the top of my head, but I want to say they're like Bianco. I know is probably close to Dave's age. Johnson might be a little younger, but I don't think it's an age thing with him. He's got young guys. I mean, he's not an old guy. He's a younger guy. Hobbs is kind of splitting the difference between those two, but I don't think that it's an age thing with Dave Van Horn. I don't know from a philosophical standpoint if there's something that he considers changing. You mentioned the speed aspect. Let's actually, before we jump into that, let's hear from Dave. Here is what Dave Van Horn had to say following the loss to SEMO, particularly giving credit to the Red Hawks pitching.
What a great job by SEMO's pitchers today. I mean, they threw four guys at us that really located, and they just they pitched out of a couple of jams, but starter got them off to a really good start. Just throwing strikes and giving their guys an opportunity to get a lead. And probably the tough one for us is we're down 6-1, and we had a leadoff single and a double in the seventh. We're thinking if we can cut this lead in half, get it to 6-3 at a minimum that inning. They bring in a reliever, and he gets a ground ball to third, a pop up, and another ground ball. We don't score. That was difficult. Because but you got to give them credit. They pitched us good. They kept us off balance.
And that was the the sequence, Christian, that you referenced earlier, that not only the bases loaded, bases juiced with Hudson White that came up, I guess that was in the 5th inning, if I remember that right. But that was the part that Arkansas just couldn't capitalize on. And when you put yourself behind like 6-1, like you're talking about, and then you don't follow through, that really hurts. He really pointed out Colin Wilma's performance, 4 2/3 innings pitched, only 1 hit, one run. He was good. And again, it's a kid that doesn't throw that hard that you couldn't seem to hit. How many times have we said that over the course of Arkansas postseason?
Yeah.
The last 10 to 20 years. You never go out against a guy that is throwing 90-something because those guys see it every day in practice. It's when they go up against a guy they don't see in practice every day that throws in like the 80s or in some cases the 70s, and you're not used to it. And they weren't used to Wilma, and he got the better of them for the majority of the outing today.
Yeah, last night on the post game, I was saying you don't want to start this game like 5-run hole or something like that, 6-1, 6-2, and that's exactly what happened. And they weren't able to mentally, score enough runs to come back. And I think about that was it UAPB this year? They, like you were saying, they seem to struggle against those type pitchers. That was one of their worst hitting performances, and today was another one of them. You didn't score until the 5th inning. I mean, it was just unacceptable, really.
All right, still taking responses on the McLarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. We're also getting some responses on our video live stream, which you can always watch on Facebook, X, Instagram, Twitch, and what's the last one? YouTube. We'll start with Gary. Gary says, the wait till next year, the moniker of Arkansas athletics. I didn't think you were going to have to wait till next year, to be honest, Gary. Unfortunately, you are going to have to wait till next year. GPS with the pretty strong response saying that Dave Van Horn looks like a clown show after his comments last night and the offense not showing up. Now, GPS, let me ask you something. Do you want your coach to just be, I think we can come back, or do you want him to be fired up? Do you want him to be inspired? Because that's not just it wasn't a shot at that particular media member. That was a shot to his team. Hey, we got to wake up. We're about to get eliminated. Now, evidently, his team didn't get through to his team based on what happened today. But I didn't have a major issue with last night based on the way they played last night, based on the way that, again, it went. Like, people got mad at Dave for doing that. What do you want him to do? Like, do you want? It was like Anthony Edwards the other day, right? He says, we're coming back. We'll see you in Dallas game 6. They lose game 5. Do you want him to say, I don't know how it's going to go?
Yeah.
You want to have confidence from a coach or player standpoint. And it's like a gotcha moment if it doesn't pan out like that player or coach intended it to. It's not, again, I don't understand that pushback, but that's the take you want to have. You go right ahead. He also adds on Arkansas baseball is Oregon football, flashy facilities, always in the conversation towards the top, but hasn't ever won anything. Johnny Cake saying today was an absolute disaster. I don't think that is a take that is going to be seldom on the radio this week. I think a lot of people are going to look at how this regional played out with that type of top. I'm still in a situation again. I think you look at what happened in the regional. I don't know if I can bunch together the season as a whole. But if you want to say the Fayetteville Regional was a failure, you can say that. I will not push back, whatever. I think I'll have to, I got to figure out how I want to phrase this season overall because you were the SEC West division winner in the final season of the divisions in college baseball. So I don't think you can say the season was a failure as a whole. But if you want to say the Fayetteville Regional, like if you want to say your postseason was a failure, 0-2 in Hoover, then what you did with only 1 win in Fayetteville, you go right ahead. Go right ahead. I'm not going to push back on that at all. At all. And like Dave shared that story, I guess a week or so ago, maybe less. It actually might have been on Thursday, where he talked about how he ran into someone in Northwest Arkansas, and he was like, season, not a great season. And he was like, well, you realize we won the SEC, right? And the fan was like, no, I didn't know that. Well, I think that he's probably going to have another conversation like that or two, if I had to guess. All right, still sifting through some of these texts on the McLarty Daniel hotline. Not that I don't enjoy reading your text, but I would still love to hear some calls on this. I know we'll get plenty tomorrow on the Morning Rush, more in halftime, more in Ruskin and Zach on the McLarty Data Hotline. We got like 8 off the bat. And then all of a sudden, I guess people are at dinner. They're going to mass. They're going to church. They're still texting during church, but they're not calling in. 2 years in a row that we want to try and forget. This is from Hog Wild and Van Buren. He also is, he hats in that ARNS, Arkansas, is not going to win the College World Series. I don't know why he thinks that. People are like reveling in your own pain. You're reveling in your own misery. That is Arkansas baseball right now. And, the phrase misery loves company, well, that seems to be the case as we continue on here on Hog Reaction. Let's go to Mansfield where Dustin is. He says, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed with how the season is. I remember a conversation my dad had with me following me going to jail. And that's what he said to me. And it hit. It was pretty true. And, of course, Dave's already talked to his teams, talked to his players. They'll have exit interviews. They'll have the conversations before the MLB draft. And Dave will, again, communicate with Hagan, Payton Stovall along the way, which is also something to point out. It's the last time we'll ever see Hagan Smith in an Arkansas uniform as a player. Now, he'll probably don some Arkansas stuff. I would guess that he's going to wear that proudly with whatever team he gets drafted by and moving on. Payton Stovall, probably Kendall Diggs. I mean, there's going to be a huge roster turnover next year. Phil knows more about it than I do, but it is going to be really intriguing to see, like Gabe Gackle, for example. It's probably going to be your Friday night starter next year, unless they just pluck someone out of the portal. They bring in some ace out of high school. I mean, even in that situation, we saw what Gackle was for this team as kind of the closer and bullpen guy, but he's probably going to transition to that role next year. There are some facets, like Nolan Susie is going to take on a more prominent role. There are some parts of this team that you should be encouraged by and that you're happy to have back next year. And then there's some other guys that you're sad to see go. All right, let's talk to Double B, who's in Bentonville this afternoon. What's up, Double B?
Hey, for baseball teams to go and have success in the postseason, your star players have to play great, and your good players have to step it up a notch. In the last 2 years, our star players have not played well in the reach. Smith has had 2 awful outings in his first appearances, and Diggs and Stovall, if I'm not correct, did not do very well this weekend. And we swing for a home run all the time. And that's why we have such a difficult time with these off-speed pitchers. But we're geared up to hit that 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Maybe we need to recruit some guys that can pitch rather than just throw. I'll hang up and listen. Thank you.
Double B, we appreciate your call. So let's start with Payton. The positive. I mean, Payton had a hit today. I can't remember off the top of my head what he did on Friday and what he did on Saturday against K-State. Maybe, Christian, you were doing the postgame. Maybe you can refresh my memory. But Payton had the best hitting stats of anyone 2 years ago. He was injured last year, right? And so, I mean, Payton in postseason's been pretty good. Again, you got to have to help me a little bit with what he did against Kansas State. I think he had a decent game one against SEMO, if I remember that right. Don't have it off the top of my head. Hagan, though, it stinks because of how it went against TCU last year, how it went against K-State Saturday night, because he's so stinking good at times, and we've seen that. But, yeah, he would tell you he underperformed. He didn't live up to his own expectation. Big C, you got the stats of what Payton did?
2 hits, 2 RBIs.
Yeah, Payton,
not bad.
That's your first rounder right there. Payton did his job. Like this regional was not Payton Stovall's fault at all by any stretch of the imagination.
What Stovall did?
Yeah.
I said Peyton Holt. My bad.
Yeah. Well, Peyton Holt had another. Again, we saw him postseason last year and hits the home run today. He's a guy that seems to really step up in another performance too.
Stovall had 1 hit last night. He had 1 hit. It wasn't his best regional, but he's been one of your best hitters.
Like last year, I think he hit like 500, 2 years ago in the Stillwater regional, and he hit like another 400 something in Chapel Hill. Like Payton Stovall is not the issue of this baseball team in postseason the last few years. I promise you that. Go look up exactly what he did in those. It was not him at all by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not trying to finger point at anyone in particular, but I will finger point away from Payton Stovall because it's not That is not the guy that you want to point fingers with.
Even Wilmsmeyer had a pretty good regional. It as a collective unit, it just didn't go well.
They ended up, let's see, 6 hits today. Yeah, you got to be around double digits, if not in double digits. They were not able to. It's not like the prowess. Like, what's that kid? Wilma's got like a 5.06 ERA on the season. It's not like you were going up against Randy Johnson or Kershaw on the mound today.
Yeah.
He just, again, that stuff, for whatever reason, because Arkansas never sees it in practice, throws those hitters off. And that slow stuff that you saw today, didn't have it. Mike from Gravett with a pretty harsh text said Hagen Smith can go get his money. He did nothing for us. Mike, do you really feel that way about Hagen Smith, the all-time strikeouts leader in Arkansas? I mean, do you actually feel that way? Do you think he is not sick to his stomach right now, feeling like he let down the team last night? Do you not think that pressure and do you not think that is killing him right now? The competitor that he is? I'm not saying he's been perfect in his postseason appearances. In fact, you could argue his freshman year was the best postseason he's had. The sophomore, junior year did not necessarily go according to plan like he wanted it to. He produced more and more in the regular season. Unfortunately, in the postseason, his sophomore and junior year was not a typical Hagen Smith. But, Mike, I don't agree with that, man. I know he's just furious. I don't know if I'd go as far as he is like furious, but I know he's disappointed with himself. And when you didn't get that win last night, I think a lot of fans collectively felt that Arkansas might be in trouble today, and they found themselves in that exact situation. All right, we're going to take another break here on Hog Reaction, again presented by Mock Legal Solutions, Arvest Bank, and Camping World. Still got a lot of people watching us. We got over 600 now that are just watching us alone. So if you want to call us, if you want to text us, McLarty Daniel Hotline still open. I still got about 20 text messages I got to get to. 877-377-6963. I want to hear from you, not just read your text. I want to hear from you. 877-377-6963. What did you think about the 6-3 loss, season ending to SEMO? That's coming up.
This is Hog Reaction. Our coverage is presented by Mock Legal Solutions, Arvest Bank, and by Camping World.
Summer is finally here. Come check out Kofer's Boat Center's huge selection of boats with the best incentives in years. Kofer's experienced professionals will answer all your boating questions, and their award-winning customer service with Mercury, Malibu, Lowe, Camus, and Garmin will keep your boat in peak condition. Kofer's also has a fully stocked pro shop and updated RV and boat storage facilities. Find Kofer's online at Kofers.com. That's COPHERS.com. Kofer's Boat Center, your authorized Mercury dealer, helping their customers create a lifetime of memories for over 50 years.
Roll into the season at WT Equipment. Get ready to roll with strong savings on hay tools, compact and mid-range tractors, and even our large commercial-grade hay equipment. Find out and save $5,000, $10,000, or more in cash back. Or get 0% financing for up to 48 months on hay tools, 60 months on mid-range tractors, and up to 72 months on compacts. Hurry, offer ends June 30th for commercial use only. Customer participation subject to credit qualification and CNH Industrial Capital America LLC approval. Standard terms, conditions, and other restrictions apply. Down payment may be required. WT Equipment, your partner in progress.
Hi, folks. Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center with exciting news about our first ever trade-in acquisition event. We need your trade. So now through Memorial Day, get your state sales tax paid when you trade for any one of our road-ready certified vehicles. That's sales tax paid when you trade. Another reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family. From general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Davis, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Now offering same-day crowns. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
There's more to a tractor than just horsepower. A tractor also needs weight to get that horsepower to the ground. With TYM, a heavier tractor comes standard. Many of the TYM models weigh more for the horsepower than comparable tractors from the big names. And tractors that weigh more, do more. See Bush Tractor at their new location at 6100 South Zero in Fort Smith, or log on to bushtractor.com to see how they can upgrade your productivity.
When you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. But you're clocking out and happy hour's already started. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local convenience store today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Patriot Transport wants to thank their drivers for their hard work and dedication. The local and over-the-road drivers are essential to the Patriot Transport mission. Day in and day out, Patriot Transport drivers are on the road striving for safety and success. To the behind-the-scenes dispatch and office employees, Patriot Transport thanks them as well for the hard work they put in day and night. If you want to be a part of the Patriot Transport family, visit patriottransport.com. Patriot Transport is located in Danville, Arkansas.
When you need legal help, turn to the law offices of Craig L. Cook. With over 40 years combined experience, the Cook Law Team works for you. If you've been injured in an auto accident, hurt on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help with bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family. What's on your to-do list today? Does it include looking for a new piece of heavy equipment? If so, come by and see us at Sharp Equipment today and explore our latest offers and deals as a Wacker Newson dealer. Whatever your day brings, whatever job it is you need to complete, Wacker Newson Equipment is up to the task, and Sharp Equipment is here to help. Stop in Central Hydraulics and see us at Sharp Equipment, located at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith, or give us a call at 479-242-1406.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. This is Hog Reaction.
A high drive deep to left field by Maheba Aloy. Way back and way out of here. He cleared the hog pen seats in left field, and the Hogs are back in front.
Our coverage is presented by Mock Legal Solutions, Our Vest Bank, and by Camping World.
And we welcome you back one final time here on Hog Reaction on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. You hear that okay, Christian? Is my mic that's out? Or?
Yeah, it's mine too.
Okay. Headset. Is the headset poured out?
Must be. Nothing.
Well, that's it, right? Oh, man. See if this is unplugged. Right there. All right, we're going to try and do this. There it goes. All right, you did something. Watch your feet, Christian. You might have kicked something. Adjustment on the fly. There you go. Make sure that's plugged in. Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. All right. For one final time, we welcome you back to Hog Reaction. We go right to the McLarty Daniel hotline. We just lost James in Fayetteville, I think. We'll take whoever this is next. Is this still James in Fayetteville, or is this someone else? Hello? Who's this? You're on the air. Hello.
We've only got one person on the air.
Okay.
So let's.
All right. James in Fayetteville, call in. If you want to try and call us back, you can do so. I'm going to read some more of these texts here on the McLarty Daniel hotline. Really appreciate everyone paying attention to our post-game coverage, not just our post-game coverage, but really all regional lawn, Mock Legal Solutions, Our Best Bank, and Camping World making it happen. A text out of the 870 saying the pitching coach and Dave Van Horn both pick out 3 or 4 pitchers they try to develop instead of trying to develop all of them. And he feels like it haunts them again. It's not like Dave and Matt aren't coaching the other guys, right? Like you don't actually think that. Thompson has been able to recognize when the guys are struggling hitting, they start playing small ball. It all falls in the lap of Dave Van Horn. Yeah, I think they're, from the first text, they're developing everyone every single year. They try and do their best. Some guys pan out, some guys don't. It's not like he just picks here. It's not like the Cal thing, right? It's not like Dave's got on a press conference and say, you know what, I only want 15 players on the roster because that's who I want to focus my intents and efforts. Like, I know there's 27 that play during the course or at least on the roster for each game, but I don't necessarily agree with that text out of the 870. All right, let's go back. James, are you with us this time on the McLarty Daniel Hotline? You there?
Yeah.
Okay, what's up, man?
Yes, sir. Here's hold on one second. So here's what I don't get. You hear everyone wanting to blame this person, blame that person. It's time that us as fans start blaming the whole team. It don't take 1, 2 people to make a team. The whole team has to do good in order to succeed in anything. Mm-hmm. And they just didn't do that. They're just not coming together as a team right now in the postseason. They're just not doing it, and that's the problem. And then that's Arkansas's problem. Every time we go into a tournament or something, we fall apart.
So, like, let me ask you this, and we'll go back to him real quick, Christian. So, James, how do you, like, when you say that, like this year and last year, the 2 early exits in regional, but like, what were you saying after 2022 when they barely lost to Ole Miss and they could have been in the College World Series final? Like, were you saying they fell apart? I mean, we have to, when we talk about this baseball team, we have to, this isn't just like 20 straight years of losing the Fayetteville Regional. I mean, you've been to the College World Series since they've been here 04, 09, 12, 15, 18, 19, 22. Like, I don't want people to write off the success that he's had. I realize it hurts right now. But, like, James, this idea that they fall apart every time, I don't know if I can necessarily get on board on that, man. Do you get where I'm coming from?
I understand where you're coming from. They just didn't bring their A game.
Yeah, and
they just for some reason on the last couple years just fall off their A game, I guess.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say.
Back-to-back years where you had early exits, and I think that Dave Van Horn will be open and honest and tell you that exact same thing. All right, Dalen is in Hot Springs on the McLarty Daniel Hotline as we venture down south. What's up, Dalen?
What's up, man? About the Ole Miss you were talking about, they were just a better team, man. You know, they were just a better team that year. We were a great team. You know, we didn't fall apart, but just Ole Miss was a better team, obviously, you know. But our pitching staff this year has been great until the end of this postseason. Hagan scared me, and I don't know why we didn't throw him back out in this last game. You know, try to do something. We had to win this, you know, to play Kansas State, and we just didn't.
Yeah, I think it's really hard. I mean, that's less than 24 hours rest, Dalen. I didn't.
Threw 90-something pitches.
Yeah,
that's kind of a lot.
Hagan had no chance of playing at all in the first game. I would venture to say he probably wouldn't get a touch in a hitter in the second game today either. But they didn't make it, so I don't know if I'm on board with that, to be honest, Dalen.
I get that, and I understand that. But what about Gackle? What about starting him out?
Yeah, I mean, you started a fresh Gage Wood, right? He didn't help me out on this, Big C. Gage didn't play last night, did he? Or did he?
No.
Okay, yeah, I thought I was correct in saying that. So you started a fresh Gage Wood. I know Gackle pitched 3 innings on Friday night. Yeah, 3 innings, 3 and maybe 3 and a third.
So he was fresh too.
Well, I mean,
but you got behind.
Yeah, and
got behind early.
We all got behind.
Yeah, they got 6-1 at one point.
I appreciate the call, guys.
Yeah, we appreciate you listening here on Hog Reaction. Again, we're still taking a bunch of texts on the McLarty Daniel Hotline, reading them like BE in Clarksville. He said you could see the weight of winning these players since they lost A&M. The pressure of winning and pushing to try and chase the game and letting the game come to it is immeasurable. I'm proud of what they did this year. It wasn't our year. I'm still proud of this team. I don't think that's going to be the common text throughout the week. I'm not saying it shouldn't be. I just don't think that a lot of people are going to have that. So maybe it's one of those things where you come around on the success, the regular season success at the end. Again, I've almost separated the two, right? Even though it is a season as a whole. You succeeded the regular season. You won the SEC division title. And I think you were projected to win the SEC preseason. I remember that right by the media, which you got pretty stinking close. Came up narrowly to Tennessee and Kentucky, I guess. But the regular season was a success. You won your division. Postseason, though, was a failure. 0-2 in Hoover. Didn't even make it to the regional final. I don't know if there's a word that you can pick out that more accurately defines the postseason for Arkansas baseball this year. And I don't even know if it's fair for me to separate the two. But I think that's how you have to do it. Caden in Clarksville said the pitching was fine today. I mean, you gave up 6 runs. It's not like you gave up 12. I mean, you should be able to win a ballpark or a game at home in your own ballpark by just giving up. I mean, we just had Dalen talk about Gates Woods. He wasn't great. 3 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs he gave up. But he wasn't terrible. Like, he wasn't just like, man, from the first inning, he was just awful. It wasn't that situation. I know he gave up that early run, but I think he was terrible. I think the pitchers at least gave you a chance. Arkansas's hitters just didn't come up today. This is a pretty emphatic text out of the 479. It's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed. The past 7 years, the batting average is hitting 176. Fire Nate Thompson. If we could get him, I'm guessing he's talking about Tony Vitello, I would make Dave Van Horn retire. So, again, that's going to be the overreaction. I don't know necessarily about the first part. I do wonder, again, if Dave contemplates his coaching staff. He's spoken to the continuity before. I asked him about it before the season began, or maybe it was right as the season began. That is something that I think he has to ask himself. I'm not necessarily sitting here telling you he has to make a move definitively, but I do think he needs to at least ask, whether it's a philosophical standpoint or a coaching staff, do I need to make a move? Like Nick Saban, after a season that they didn't win a national title, a lot of time there was coaching staff changes. And he was shrewd. He was direct. He was blunt. He was honestly inhumane sometimes in some of the things, but that's why he's the greatest college football coach of all time, because he has to make those hard decisions. Again, I don't know if one needs to be made, but I do think Dave is going to ask himself if one needs to be made. That's kind of where I'm coming from.
It may be kind of like a player personnel type issue where you've got guys that are all really good power hitters, but they don't get that big clutch base hit when you need it. And a lot of the teams that we end up losing to in these super regionals and regionals seems like they have guys that can hit it all over the park. And it's like when we're not hitting home runs, we're not doing very well, Patrick with the message on Facebook saying we continue to flame out when it matters most. Something has to change. Another message saying runners in scoring position, they were terrible at hitting that way all year. Again, I know that's how you're feeling right now, Patrick, and I know that's how a lot of you, that's the first, flaming out and doing that, especially after last year. I think this is, whether it's fair or not, last year, I'm forgetting the word, when you put money and then your money grows in investments and then it continues to grow based on your dividends. Is it stocks? No,
it's when the money quintuples. Someone help me out. Someone in finance help me out. But when that happens, it's like you combine last year's regional exit with this year's. That's why you feel even worse today, right? Because of what happened against TCU and how dominant they were. And it's not like Kansas State was dominant by any stretch of the imagination last night. Not like SEMO was dominant today, but you lost and you had chances to win, which I know hurt you even more. Clay agreed with this text, saying they need to clean house. They do it in the other sports, and we haven't won anything if you consider yourself a winner. He considers the Hogs a winner, even though they haven't won national championship. If we're going to keep DVH, I think we need to bring down our expectations. I am very upset. I'm sorry. Listen, if you want to be upset, I get it. I don't think there's a limit to Arkansas ceiling with Dave Van Horn. I really, truly believe that. Again, I just wonder if there is going to be a change within that coaching staff? I think that's the biggest question that everyone has. Not Dave. Compounding interest. Thank you, Tommy. Compounding interest. So thank God Tommy's listening with some fiscal sense. So the loss today compounded with last year. Thank God he has had any sort of sense. That's what I'm talking about. That was the word I was looking for, Big C. All right, our final call of the afternoon goes to Chase, who's listening in Fort Smith. Chase, you're on Hog Reaction. You got the final say before we end today's show.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, Chase. What you got for us as we close out with you?
Yeah, I was at the game today, and I don't know what everybody's talking about. I had a great time. It was a lot of fun. Honestly, it seemed like we played this way all season long. I know we won a lot of games, and Hagen Smith pitched quite a lot better in the past. But for the most part, our hitting hasn't been that great all season long. Our pitching has been off and on all season long. We just managed to get a win at the last second the entire season. And if you watch this the whole season, there were a lot of games we really shouldn't have won, and we lucked out and made it happen. I don't think it's too surprising that we ended the season the way that we did.
Yeah, and I kind of thought that, and we appreciate your call, Chase, as we close out here tonight. I think that's I think that's a fair way to approach what happened against the SEMO Redhawks today. It's like you kind of expected it. And at the same time, I kind of thought in the back of my mind that they would all of a sudden just go on this run after what happened in the postseason. But it didn't happen that way. All right, that's going to do it for us. We really appreciate you listening to Hog Reaction. We're back tomorrow in these chairs for the Morning Rush.
This is Hog Reaction. Our coverage is presented by Mock Legal Solutions, Arvest Bank, and by Camping World.
Salisaw Ford wants to buy or trade for your vehicle today, and they will give you top dollar. Pre-owned car values are at historic all-time highs, and your car today is worth more than it ever will be again. If